Welcome to another episode of Liban Is Listening. I'm recording this at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a little bit loopy. You'll have to put up with a little bit of casual weirdness. Um, my neighbors, if they hear any of this, are probably going to hate me because who the hell starts making noise at 4 o'clock in the morning? But in my defense, they have parties all the time. Like at least once a month, they'll have a party in the middle of the week, mind you, and they'll go till late. And I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say the noise bothers me. I'm bothered more by the fact that they don't invite me. I like a good time. I'm always up for a good time. So what is this disrespect where I'm right here, guys? I can bring the energy, and yet they're not. They're keeping me on the bench, and I'm like, I'm ready to go, coach. Put me in the field. I'll show every. But no, they just keep me benched, and I'm starting to get a bit fed up. I don't know what I have to do. Do I have to just go over there and knock on the door and be like, guys, I'm sorry to say this, but I need you to turn the music up because I'm coming in. Ah! I don't know. I'm gonna have to do something, but this can't continue. Anyway, this is all getting beside the point. What is this today? What is today's episode? Today's episode is about astrology. It's about sun signs, it's about moon signs, it's about water, fire, it's about how we're affected by the cosmological bodies and their effect on our minds and brains and spirits and souls. um, I'm fascinated by Johnny's obsession with this. You can tell by how I like to dismiss everything that he holds to be true that I enjoy winding him up. Some would call that callous. Some would say it's not a very good friend thing to do, to just wind him up and get him going so that our dear listeners can have an interesting podcast. But I would argue that you can also go fuck yourself. And on that delightful note, please enjoy this episode.
I have one topic to talk about today.
One topic to talk about today, which is
it's more of like an argument, and I'm
okay.
going to present this
Oh,
argument.
I don't
to
want
you.
an argument. I don't want to argue with you.
No, I mean
this is an
argument
argument podcast.
No, I mean an argument, like a theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's my argument, and I'm going to present it to you, and you can see what you think about it. You can maybe try and poke holes in it.
One thing I don't like about that is I feel like if you're presenting an argument, I should have a responsibility to actually consider it and then respond to it properly. And if you're just giving it to me straight as is now, I'm not going to be able to give it the proper. I'm just going to sit there. I'm just going to sit there and either agree with you and be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds interesting. That sounds reasonable," which isn't an interesting response. Or I'm going to sit there and go, "Do you know what? That sounds like nonsense." But then, unless I can actually give you like real like bullet points of why I agree or disagree, it's not going to be. It's just going to be me talking off the top of my head of what my first impression is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought
it's not going to be meaty.
It was going to be about astrology and science.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, obviously, you're going to disagree with me anyway.
Yeah.
You don't think it would?
But I need to give you the respect that it deserves, though, whether I disagree with you or not.
It's not a serious thing. It's not a big serious thing.
Okay.
But
all right. Let's give it a go.
Should we give it a go straight from the top? And if it's shit, we can abandon it.
Okay,
and then we're going to your stuff. Because that's all I have, man. That's all I have.
No, but you've got other stuff that one of the things you mentioned is something that we can do today that doesn't require too much of you. The metaverse thing. That doesn't require much energy off you.
All right. So let me start with this. Mm-hmm. Then we can talk about virtual reality. Mm-hmm. And then we can go into your stuff. What do you think about
virtual insanity?
That's not how it goes.
I know. I can't remember the melody. But I was like,
you either remember the lyrics or the song.
That's all I could do. It's never both at the same time.
Yeah, never at the same time. Jesus.
Never the twain shall meet. So, you got something you want to talk about today, don't you, Johnny?
I do.
Hit me.
Well, I was
Hit me
thinking.
with your rhythm stick. Hit me, hit me. I'm sorry. I'm in a silly mood today.
No, you're in an exuberant mode. You need to work that energy off.
I need to go
Um,
out and go for a jog. I need to
you could
run
do this
this.
podcast on your own. I think you can
Yeah. Can you
literally
just be
go for so.
quiet? Can you just
Yeah, go
sit
on,
there and I'll
go
talk
on.
for an hour and you just tell me. You can just react the whole time.
Now, what are you talking about? You won't even notice me. Once you get going, you're not even going to notice me.
All right. No, sorry. I'll try my best not to interrupt too much. You go ahead. Get us
No, no,
going.
you can interrupt because the whole point is I want to hear your thoughts. You're a normal
Okay.
guy.
I am.
Normal guy.
Well, by some standards, normal. By other standards, very strange.
Well, I wanted to talk about science,
Let's
right?
talk about science, baby. Let's talk. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Um, because what I was thinking about science, right, is it used to be this thing that weird new things. It used to relish like new ideas, like
Back in the
new
day.
ideas. Back in the day, back when it did something, new
Yeah.
ideas would be
Yeah.
like seized upon
You seized
and
upon.
considered
Oh,
and and thought about
sounds
and
hot.
adapted.
Yeah.
You're ripping the piss out of me already. I haven't even.
No, I'm with you, bro. Back in the day, science they used to
And
come up with
and
new ideas
now
and shit. Yeah.
and now it seems like science is really just like this this a few people think this thing, everyone else is supposed to think it, and it's just used to discredit stuff rather than try and embrace new things, right?
Okay.
And I think this especially when I think about astrology,
Okay.
right? And
And we should make clear to our listeners, you're a big, like you've mentioned a couple of times before, just casually during the podcast. You're a Capricorn moon. You're an Aquarius.
no, am I what?
You're a
I'm an
Pisces. Sorry, you're not an
Aquarius.
Aquarius. You're a Pisces with a Capricorn moon.
Yes. And what's my
Uh,
ascendant?
you're a. Oh fuck! What is your ascendant? I don't actually know. I don't think I don't
I'm a
remember.
Scorpio rising. I'm a Scorpio rising.
You're
I'll
a
forgive you for
Scorpio
that. Forget
rising
it.
with a Capricorn moon and mainly a Pisces. You were
Mainly a
born on.
Pisces. A lot of water in my sign. A lot of
There's a
water in my
lot of
chart. Yeah.
water. So clearly, you're a big believer in astrology
And
and the impact
yeah,
of all of this stuff. And one thing I'd like to mention
yeah.
to the people listening to this is that I, Liban, don't believe in any of this at all. I think it's very silly fun. It's silly fun that I'm always willing to indulge in. But one of the things I often do is I like to plagiarize Johnny's personality because I find Johnny to be such a fascinating human being that I like to absorb some of his things and then take it out into the world just to see how other people react to it. So over the years, one of the things that I've done is that despite not believing in any astrology whatsoever, to any new person that I ever meet, I immediately start talking about astrology the way that he does with the same passion and belief. And I just like to enjoy people's reactions to it because it's almost like I'm introducing Johnny to them and then I'm seeing the way they're reacting to Johnny. It's it's really fun. But that's a
Well,
little side point.
and well, let me say two asides here. Firstly, I'll tell the story of how I got into astrology. I've been into it since a kid,
Yeah, how
and
did you I never asked you. That's such a good thing. How
I've
did you ever
told you
get
this
into it?
before.
Did
I
you?
got into it. I got into it when I was like 14, 15, because I thought it would basically help me chat up girls, right?
Really? So at
Yes,
14, you genuinely thought girls are interested in
but
astrology.
they
If
were.
if
They
I'm
were.
if I know a little bit about this, I've got something to talk to them about.
I think about 3 or 4 girls had
Yeah.
like asked me my sign.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember my first day at college. Oh my god, first day at college would have been about 16 then. Like we were all in a group, right? And there was one girl. She was gorgeous. She was absolutely stunning. And she was like, and then someone else said, "Hey
Yeah.
Johnny, she wants to know what sign you are." And I said, "Oh, I'm a Pisces." And she was like, "Oh, that's my sign," because she was a Scorpio. Pisces is Scorpio.
They go
That's when
really well
magic
together.
happens. That's magic happens. Anyway,
Am I right
so
in
I
thinking
got
your lady's a Scorpio?
no. She's a no, not giving away the information.
Okay. I'll
Not
cut
giving
this
away the
out. I'll cut
information.
this out. So Scorpio and Pisces go well together.
Yes, yes. Anyway, 2 water signs. So, and the other side I wanted to do is you. So you say you've been talking about astrology to different people, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
And are people generally into astrology,
Oh yeah, loads of people.
especially women?
Yes, yeah, I have found that. A
Yeah.
lot more of the women that I talk to are more interested in it than the dudes that I
Yes.
give the same spiel to.
Right. And you know what? People call me a misogynist, and I joke about being a misogynist, but this is an area genuinely where
Yeah,
sexism occurs, and no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. All
about the
this,
inherent
whenever
sexism of how people dismiss astrology.
exactly, and I'm
Boom.
not even
You've
joking
got
about
yourself a
this.
Vulture article. You've got yourself a Slate article. You need to contact the editor of some of these websites, salon.com, the Huffington Post. I don't care. Call them. Be like, we need to talk about this. This is a topic
It's
for
true.
public discussion.
It's absolutely fucking true. I'm not even joking about that. Science is full of men. It's full of this very masculine, rational, hard, cold logic, and they dismiss something that is very relevant. The reason women believe in astrology way more than men is because they have. I've said this to you before. They have. Why is a woman's period on a 28-day cycle?
They're connected to the moon, the lunar cycle.
Yeah, I told you this before, right? And people go, "Oh, well, it's nonsense." It's not nonsense. Why does a year is not a human invented? It's a human invented time frame for a naturally occurring cycle, right? It's a natural thing, the rotation of the Earth around the sun, right?
Indeed.
So you look at a plant. You say, "Oh, this plant, the bloom looks very beautiful in April." And then the blossom disappears, and then it comes back in April, the bloom, and then you realize, okay, this has something to do with the planets, right?
Yeah.
But when you say a woman, there's no other reason for a woman's period to happen on a 28-day cycle. The only correlation is the moon, which we know also for a fact has an effect on the tides and the waves and stuff like that, and
Well,
on some plants, and on some plants as
can I
well.
make one point there? When you
Go
say
on.
the only you like to portray yourself as an open-minded person who's open to all sorts of possibilities. When you say the only reason that it could possibly be 28 days or is because of this connection to the moon, you're closing your mind off to all sorts of possibilities you haven't considered.
Go on, give me one.
Listen, I'm not a gynecologist who knows the period cycle and could tell you anything about it. I'm just saying I'm sure there's other possibilities for why it could be 28 days.
Give me, anyone in this fucking, give me one reason it can't be. Give me one other thing that it
But why
correlates to
should they?
perfectly.
Why don't you look it up? Why should they tell you anything?
I don't need to. What do you mean? It's when the sun rises and the day gets warmer. Do you say this got nothing to do with the sun? Give me one reason to prove me that has something to do with the sun, the
No.
rotation of the earth.
Listen, you're comparing two very different things. One is like very direct, like you can see, we know the sun provides heat.
Yeah.
That's a very direct reason of
Right,
direct.
and we know for a fact that the moon affects the tides, so it has an effect on bodies and fluids on the earth,
Okay,
right?
but then the way you're talking about it, every woman should be on the exact same cycle.
No, 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 no. Why should they be on the same cycle? And in fact, women do go on the same cycle when they spend a lot of time together, which is another interesting fact. How does science explain that?
Anyway,
It can't.
we're getting
Fuck
sidetracked. We're
science.
getting sidetracked. Go back to your main
We're
point.
not sidetracked. Listen, I was sidetracked this. Let's go round the houses on this. I love this. I love talking about astrology. But this is kind of what I wanted to talk about this, and because the you love science, right? You love
Why do
science.
you always have to put me into this like fucking you love science?
Well, you
What does
do.
that even
You
mean?
do.
What does it mean to love
It,
science?
it means you follow the doctrines of the day. You follow what the scientists tell you of the day. Listen. No. I was about to, you know what I was going to say, but
All
but
right, go
my
on.
point, and I think that, and actually with science, I think I've known this for a long time, and it's actually becoming a little bit known, and you might have even read about this, but the big replicability crisis. Have you read about this?
No, go ahead.
Whether in science they had this big problem where there's all these studies that are happening in science, and they've realized that every time someone else tries and replicates the study, they can't do it. They get completely different results. There's this big issue where like they did a test and like 80% of scientific studies can't be replicated. And that's the whole point, isn't it? That's the whole scientific method, you know? So they
Yeah.
have this big issue. It's become pretty obvious within the scientific community that most of what they do is a big crock of shit.
Okay.
They know that. Right?
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about astrology. I'm leading up to something with this, although it's going to be a bit of an anticlimax. I'll explain why it's going to be an anticlimax, and it's not my fault. It's an anticlimax this night. It's actually Liban's fault. It's an anticlimax. But
Okay. I'll take the blame for it. Sure.
all right, I'm gonna explain what I think are the three problems with science. Right, the three problems with science via astrology. Right?
Okay.
Is this boring?
No. It's interesting.
All right, we can cut it out if it's boring. But the first problem. Wait, I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, the first problem with science, right, is that the people within the scientific community, they're so sure of so much stuff that they don't even bother to investigate any stuff that, like esoteric stuff. So all the scientific community, they've got this accepted truth that astrology is a bunch of nonsense. So they will never even do an investigation into astrology. I've looked for studies on astrology. There's very few, like a handful over the past 50 years. That's the first problem. They never invest. It's like ghosts. Let's say ghosts fucking existed, right? Ghosts exist. Let's say for a fact ghosts exist.
Ghosts exist.
Science would never fucking discover that they exist because they would never bother to even do like some science to fucking check that they exist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's this almost paradoxical thing. You've got accepted, something will only be investigated once it's become a mass accepted truth. So back in the day, you had like one guy, Einstein, one guy, Tesla, they come up with theories. And even, we're supposed to be rid of prejudices now. And we say that the past, they were so prejudiced. But even back then, they entertained these fringe ideas, if only to disparage them. But then they were eventually proved. But now we don't even do that. You just completely dismissed. Everyone just dismisses the esoteric.
Okay.
That's the first problem.
All
That's
right.
the first problem
number
science.
1, esoteric is dismissed and not investigated.
Yeah. So you're just stuck investigating shit you already know, which is a paradox, right?
Okay.
So the second problem of science is when they're investigating something esoteric, they never actually understand enough about it to do a proper science. So with astrology, for instance, they were, okay, we're going to investigate this thing called astrology. And then they just go by the star signs. They don't understand that astrology is really complex, that you have a whole chart. And, and it's not like every fairy. Like if you asked several astrologers to interpret a chart, they will come up with a pretty definitive thing. Okay, it's going to be a bit fuzzy, there's a little bit of interpretation, but it's generally pretty definitive. Saturn means a very certain thing. The 8th house means something that's pretty specific. Your moon means something pretty specific. But they'll never do that. So we'll do a test about astrology and we just did sun, star signs. In fact, there are so many studies that are like, can they predict? They looked at horoscopes. They looked at the horoscopes in the daily newspaper, which we all know are made up. We all know it's made up by some fucking intern during her lunch break. You know that. And they're like, yeah, see, so we've just dismissed the whole practice of astrology. Even though astrology is a fucking ancient science. The people who made arguably the greatest leaps in human civilization believed in astrology. And you think you're smarter than them, right?
They also believed in a lot of other weird shit that's been disproven over the years.
It's been disproven, has it? Name it. Name one thing. The golden
like
ratio.
Blood
the golden
leaching.
ratio.
Leaching blood.
You're talking about the 18th century. That's like 60th, 70th, 80th century. I'm talking about ancient civilizations, Sumerians, ancient Greeks, Egyptians, people like that. Don't tell me these people didn't know what the fuck they were talking about.
Why is everything in the past so much better for you, Johnny?
I just have a real appreciation for. Listen, when I say the past, I was thinking the other day, fucking Windows 7 was so much better than Windows 10. And no one's going to argue with that. And
that's pretty accurate.
You want to witness the decline of civilization? Just go back 4 fucking years.
Okay. All right.
Can't even make window.
What's the third point?
The third and final problem with
The final
science
nail
is
in the
this.
coffin.
The final nail in the coffin for this charlatan, this practice of charlatans, is when they do investigate something and they find something, right? What do you think is going to happen? If they do a study, and there is a study actually that did find something, when they find something, it should revolutionize everything. If they find that there's something in astrology, scientists across the world should have their minds blown. They should be shaking with excitement at exploring this possible new truth and uncover, God knows what it's going to lead to and uncover. But instead, what happens is they just discredit the person who did it. They say this person must be a fucking clown. They must have there's a problem with their method. And there was a astrological study that did look at charts of great athletes, right, to find some correlation. And they did. They found that a lot of great athletes, great competitors, had a lot of Aries in the charts. Aries makes a lot of sense, right? There's Mars,
What is it? What is it about Aries that gives you? What are the characteristics?
It's a fire sign. It's a sign of competition. It's a sign of leaders. It's the ram. They solve their problems by breaking down barriers again and again and again. It's a fire dynamism. It's always.
That sounds awesome. I wish I was an Aries.
Well, you are a fire sign.
That sounds awesome.
You're a Leo. You're a king. But the Aries is like the war bringer. It's literally exactly what you would expect. Exactly what astrologists would say. Now.
This is some good stuff. I need to remember this so I can spout it for other people.
Yeah. When they found this, even the people who did it, they knew what the reaction was going to be. So they came up with like some mealy mouth, like trying to explain and said like, oh, people who were born at this time, they're slightly older than other people in their class, so they have an advantage in athletics, so they might do it a bit more. It's like very, really mad. Then of course everyone else came in and was like, oh, actually with the probability, it's not that bizarre and blah, blah, blah. And they came up with all this shit and it was quickly brushed under the carpet.
But everybody
knows.
Science. But everybody knows the real deal is that because they're born under the Aries star sign, that's the exact reason why.
Here I reach my fin de siècle, my creme de la creme.
Wait, that's such a cool phrase. What's a fin de siècle? What the hell is that?
That's the end of the millennium. What am I? Oh, the creme de men, the creme de men. No, what's the thing that means the cherry on the top?
I don't know. Creme de la creme? What's creme de la creme?
The coup d'état. The coup d'état.
Okay.
I can't remember. Anyway, here I reached the
just throwing out all the French phrases you can think of.
I'm picking up the cherry. I'm about to put it right on top.
Because je pense donc je suis.
Yeah, that's it. But here's the thing. I'm picking up the cherry. I'm going to put it on top of this cake right now. I was going to do an astrological test. Simple one.
Oh, shit.
I
like it. Go on, let's do a test.
Here's the thing. I was going to do astrological test, and I was making it hard for myself because I wasn't even looking at charts. I was just going by sun signs. I asked Liban to provide me with famous creative duos, people who had worked together and created something genuinely profound, brilliant over a prolonged period. Right?
Yeah.
What do they call it? Supposition, my
proposition,
hypothesis.
Yeah.
Was that these signs would correlate. There would be signs that tend to go together. There would be air signs, earth signs, there would be signs. And so for them to go together, there is a 1 in 4 chance that they would both have the same sort of, they'd both be fire signs, they'd both be earth signs, etc. There's a 1 in 4 chance, right? Now, unfortunately...
Listen, I haven't made the list yet. I didn't even know we were going to address that today. You didn't tell me this was related to that.
It was related to this. I was going to prove astrology to you live on air.
Listen, I did not bring the list. What do you want me to do? I didn't I've not prepared that.
I still have a bunch of people.
Why didn't you look at me today and say, do you know what? Let's not talk about this because I'm still missing some of the material.
Waiting. I got sick of waiting.
You literally asked 2 days ago, you dozy cunt. You piece of shit. You're making me look like a fool now when you've given me no time whatsoever to prepare this list.
look, you and the people listening, you can take this going forward. So the next time, as you live your life, you can check it. It's a Google search, right? You can check this. Now, I have a bunch of duos here.
Can you just tell me the Coen brothers? What are the Coen brothers?
Well, they're brothers, so I wouldn't even do them. I
mean,
they're brothers.
Why not? What difference does it make?
All right. Let me just read out some names to you. Now, not all of these.
See, classic scientist. He doesn't want to look into something that would affect the way that he sees something.
They're brothers.
You are a scientist, Johnny. You are those who you claim to hate.
All right, let me just reel this off for you.
Oh yeah, your doctrine, your dogma. That's what you're going to stick to, rather than the outsider perspective that you don't want to acknowledge. I'm you, Johnny, and you are science.
Lennon and McCartney, air science.
See how he ignores me? This is exactly
Jagger
how
Richards,
science ignores people.
Fire science. Adam and Joe, air science. This was provided by Amos, Straub and Quille. I don't even know who they are. I think they make movies. Both air science. Outcast, famously, they named an album Aquemini. Both air science. This is one provided by Amos. John Wayne and John Ford.
To the new scientist.
John Wayne and John Ford, I don't think, I mean, they're not really a creative duo. One of them's just an actor, but they're a mismatch.
Brothers.
Okay.
Tell me about the Coen brothers. I don't care about any of this shit.
Bowie and Eno, both air science. Vic
Joel
and Bob,
Coen,
both
Ethan
air science.
Coen.
Hall and Oates, mismatch. Okay. Van Halen, David Lee Roth, air science. Now, that should be 1 in 4.
You might as well go in front of a PhD board and defend your thesis, because this is sounding awfully scientific to me.
Is that a pejorative or a positive? I don't know what it means coming from
Right now, it's pejorative, because right now I'm you, and you're not listening to me.
Okay, listen, you can still do it. You come up with it. Just next time.
Tell me about the Coen brothers.
They're brothers. Okay, I'm looking at the Coen brothers.
Why won't the scientific community look into the Coen brothers? That's what I want to know.
I'm checking.
What is it that they don't want us to know?
Okay, so one is Virgo Libra. The other one is Sagittarius.
And what does that say to us?
That's a mismatch.
That's a mismatch, and that immediately tells us that your theory is nonsense. The whole case has been blown wide open.
Here we go.
Science is defeated once more. The outsider has won. So much for your authority. So much for your dignity.
Listen. I'm not even joking. That we could do this again. You come up with a bunch of creative duos. You come up with a bunch of creative duos.
I don't even need to come up with a bunch of them. I came up with one creative duo, some of the finest directors of the 20th and 21st century.
No, I think they're overrated.
They're absolutely not. And they completely destroyed your theory from, just one example completely destroyed everything you just said.
I think they're kind of overrated, to be honest with you.
You're overrated, Johnny. You're overrated.
But anyway, I think I've conclusively proved that the entire scientific industry, because it is an industry, I didn't even mention the money, is a bunch of horseshit. And I think I've conclusively proven that astrology is the one true science. And also, come on, sisters, come on, women, let's fight sexism where it matters, right? Let's fight back against.
That's actually something I find interesting. I do find it interesting, the idea that people dismiss astrology so easily because commonly a lot of women believe in it, and I wonder if it would be dismissed less if it's something that men held to.
100%. I mean, this is why I hate.
What's the male equivalent of astrology? What's the male equivalent of astrology where you've got a bit of nonsense that they hold to really, they look.
Well, there's a joke about that. There's a joke about it, like they said with stocks, technical analysis is like male equivalent of astrology, like drawing signs on all the charts to predict where it's going to go next.
Gotcha.
There's like a joke. This is the male version of astrology, but the joke is, astrology is a bunch of horse shit, and this is the horse shit that men believe instead of the horse shit that women believe. But yeah, I do think there is a very sexist element. The dismissal of.
I think you should lean into that. I think that's where you're going to get money. If you want to make some money, that's the angle you need to work on.
I absolutely stand with women on that issue.
Beautiful.
So anyway, there it is. And unfortunately, it did end in an anticlimax. However, I think I gave a pretty good account. Let me just read those names off again. Lennon and McCartney, Jagger and Richards, Adam and Josh, Straub and
Ethan
Quille,
Cohen,
Outcast, Bowie and Eno, Vic and
Joel
Bob, Van
Cohen,
Halen and David Lee
the
Roth.
Cohen brothers.
All of those people.
Let's not even get into the Wachowskis. Where are the Wachowskis in all of this? Matrix.
Aren't they brothers as well?
Sisters now. I think they're both transgender. Aren't
Okay,
they?
but obviously if they're rated. But you know what?
You tell me their star signs. Look up the Wachowskis for me.
I would even bet that they have good, according to the chart. Like I said, I make this hard on myself because I was just looking at the sun sign, and it still should be 1 in 4. It should be 1 in 4. Instead, it was 8 out of 10. Fuck's sake! It's proof conclusive. Right, one of them is a Capricorn. The other one is a Gemini Cancer cusp.
And what is that? Is that a mismatch or is that a match?
That's a mismatch.
Boom! Another mismatch. Another nail in the coffin of your bullshit theory. Oh my god. I'm not even... Holy shit. Your house of cards is tumbling. Your sandcastle is eroding. The tide has come back and the water is washing away all of your bullshit on shifting sands.
This is a house of bricks built on the finest soil, and you're huffing and puffing is just making you out of breath. It's happening, all right? There we go. Right. Astrology, proven. And you know what? I welcome the listeners to come at me and try and make an argument. Although I also invite the listeners to, in the future, just do little tests like that. I do this all the time when I see football teams. And I see, wow, there's like 3 or 4 players there that just seem to be completely on the same wavelength. Sometimes I do with Google, and they're like, oh, there's a bunch of air signs. It's a nice little proof of it. Nice little proof of it. It should only be a 1 in 4 chance. Instead, it's 8 out of 10.
And yet, just me randomly picking a couple of options out.
Relatives,
two mismatches in a row. Embarrassing. Absolutely. Imagine you were at like a conference of astrologers, and everybody's up there presenting their latest work, and you're up there, and you get to the Q&A section at the end, and 2 random people in the crowd ask you, "What about these 2? And what about these 2?" And 2 times in a row, it's a mismatch. Oh, the egg on your face, Johnny!
It's not egg on my face.
You'd be laughed out of that conference hall.
The egg is on their face.
Eggs on your face, brother.
And security, you need to escort these people because people of such stupidity are a danger to themselves, not just everyone in this conference hall. And beat them up while you're at it. Beat up the heathens. Come on, sisters.
Okay, all right. What was the other thing you wanted to talk about today?
That was it. I did have some. I did want to suggest. I wanted to ask your thoughts on virtual reality. I don't really have anything to say about it. I haven't thought about virtual reality. I just wanted to ask what you think.
You've
never tried it, have you?
I've never tried it. I don't really.
Neither have I.
Let's not talk about it then. Let's fuck it. I don't know anything about virtual reality. I've never tried it.
Are you tempted? Are you tempted to try virtual reality?
No, not yet. No, it still looks really shit.
No, I don't know about that. I did see some stuff. Like I saw some of the pornographic stuff, not hardcore, but I saw like.
Why does it matter whether it's softcore or hardcore?
Well, it wasn't. It was like this weird GIF that I saw, and it was 2 women who look very realistic, and then this guy with the hand, he's controlling the hand. He has like a banana, right? And he brings the banana. The women are clothed. He brings the banana close to the women, and their eyes follow the banana, and they go googly-eyed, and they open their mouths. I was like,
that sounds so cartoonish.
It sounds cartoonish. It sounds funny, but it was. I mean, you could see the erotic possibilities to that. It blew my mind.
So
I mean, he probably
you're
like
interested
17.
in the erotic possibilities of virtual reality,
mate. When I saw that, I thought, oh my god, because it looks realistic. It looks like. I mean, they look just like the way girls on TikTok act, with their fucking weirdo faces. They make the sex faces, whatever. And he had 2 women who, I just thought, fucking hell, this is gonna.
So, is it gonna be like in the past? Famously, technologies have been pushed by the porn industry, where
Yes,
you,
yes,
you had
yes.
the wars between Betamax and VHS ended up
Yeah.
winning because the porn industry supported the VHS format, and then a similar thing sort of happened when it was Blu-ray versus HD DVD.
Is that true?
Yeah, porn industry went for the Blu-rays, and then once porn went fully into streaming, the sort of Blu-ray and DVD market just fell out, and then now all porn is in the streaming world, and like it does seem to push technology towards certain directions. So, are you proposing that the porn industry is very close to jumping into VR?
Mate, I think the porn industry is already there. And yeah, I completely agree with what you said. I never even knew that about the formats. I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
just thought,
There's been a lot
I
of
was,
format wars over the years that's been basically decided, because when you think about what industries print the most content in terms of volume, it's the porn industry. They're cranking shit out on a monthly basis.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I knew it with the internet. I knew like the internet became like video on the internet and stuff like that, and that became big through porn. Because porn that really was the frontier of it. Mate, it's gonna happen in VR. I don't think. Yeah, I think it's gonna explode, and it's already big. It's already big, like you know.
Mate, when we get VR porn, that's gonna be the end of our civilization. No, nobody's ever gonna have sex with an actual human being again. If you can, I mean, I tried VR a
Yeah,
little bit. I tried it one time when someone happened to bring one of those. I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. Someone brought a little helmet thing into work, and I
yeah.
tried it a bit, and it was pretty cool. It was very immersive. Um, I don't know if someone does that with pornography. I think that's game over, man. It's game over, man.
Is it game over? Because you think like, okay, now men have access to infinite amounts of porn, any possible fetish, any possible type of woman, any possible
Yeah, but it's
act.
next level immersion, isn't it?
This is next.
There's a
Yeah,
difference between having it on a screen in front of you, and it's a completely different experience to be
Well,
having it up close in your eyeballs with headphones on,
yeah,
hearing it
is
in
there?
stereo. Surely
Is
there
there?
is.
Isn't it just the push and pull of like, okay, I mean, if you showed someone now the internet of porn, if you showed someone from the 40s, look at all of this, they'd be like, oh, that's it, that's the end point. But we've become used to that now,
All right,
and
what
so now
about
we need
let's
something more.
let's go one level further, Johnny. What if in the next 20, 30 years we've got the VR, and then they also figure out how to make not necessarily a perfect AI, but an AI that knows just enough to make you feel like, oh, this is an actual interaction. And then they combine the pornography aspect with the AI aspect, and you get these characters who can sort of treat you lovingly and treat you
Yes.
sexily and treat you nice and just make you feel very, very good.
Well, isn't this where porn is right now? Because I mean, the big thing about porn is the OnlyFans stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
next
These
level of
guys,
that.
yeah, these guys can click and get whatever they want, whatever kind of woman, however attractive, beautiful women. Because beyond mere mechanical titillation is a sense of intimacy, a sense of
Direct connection with the
uniqueness.
person.
Yeah, which is why that's become big. But what I think is maybe slightly different. I mean, imagine porn, and then you make the woman of your dreams, and you could look like a celebrity. You can make her look like a celebrity if you
Oh,
like a
with the deep
celebrity.
fakes, yeah, deep fakes are coming.
Deep fakes are
They're here,
insane, yeah,
they're here, and then they're going to be combined with the AI and the VR, and before you know
yeah.
it, game over, man. I'm telling you, game
Because
over, man.
because it's not just titillation there. You actually get to experience coming home to your wife, and then you get to sit on the couch while she's cooking dinner for you. You can just have that
Isn't this
boring
what happens
intimacy. I
in
mean, that's
Blade
going to
Runner
be
2049?
yeah. He has a sex robot, I think, right?
I never
I don't
actually
like
saw
Blade
it.
Runner 4.
I didn't
Don't
see it.
like
I
Blade
didn't
Runner
see it, but
24.
I saw in the trailer that there were shots of a
It's a
holographic woman
half-baked
who.
idea. Yeah, it's not that big of a thing in the,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
That's a
But
separate thing.
I don't.
I'll cut this out. Ignore
But
it.
I mean, this it's a cliche point. It's a cliche point. Right? But it's like it won't even be porn. Then it's going to be like people will literally live in VR because they can live the lifestyle they want. Like Like, I want to live by the ocean in a lovely big house, you know, and I can do that in VR. It's going to go beyond porn. It's going to be like fantasy, like every aspect of your
I
fantasy
don't think it's
life.
going to be good enough for that in our lifetime. I don't think the quality or the, what's the
You don't
word?
think so?
What's the fidelity? I don't think it's going to be good enough in our lifetime that you could lose yourself in that. I think it's still going to be looking very sort of, with the graphics, processing power, and what it presents to you, it's still going to be something that you can easily detach yourself from. I don't think we're going to get to that point for at least 100 years or more.
No, I think the one thing that we do advance in is linear hardware progression. That's the one thing that we do progress.
Yeah, but
Software is
you
shit.
can't fool your eyes into thinking this is reality.
No, you can't. I agree with you. I don't think you're ever going to get to that. I think it's weirdly, it's like, what's the name of that thing where you're constantly getting closer to something, but you never actually get there? There's like a word for it.
It's the turtle
Amos
thing,
would
isn't
know.
it? It's the turtle that goes half the distance and then half the distance and then half the
Yes,
distance.
yes, yes. That's what we're doing. And VR is going to take us a little bit closer, but we're not quite there. And I think it's going to be just as frustrating and destructive as regular porn for society. Because it's not real sensuality. It's not real. And there's so much more to two people. I mean, I don't even like this talking on its own. It's inhumane.
You want to smell
It's
me,
psychopathic.
don't you? You really want
Huh?
to smell me.
Smell you.
Yeah.
Have both of us be influenced by the same environment. The heart emits a frequency that can be felt up to 15 meters away.
That's
The brain
beautiful.
emits
That's beautiful. The
brain emits a
heart
frequency.
forget the brain. Let's go back to the heart. I want to
But
hear you say that again.
the point is the brain only does 5 feet. The heart emits a bigger frequency than the brain. That's
I just had an orgasm. No ideas, just feelings. The heart has a frequency that can be felt 15 feet away. Holy shit.
And those cannot
now
be
this
felt
is
on
the
a Zoom
space that
call.
I want to be in. Forget the astrology. Let's talk about the frequency of the heart. We've got ourselves. Oh my God, what a concept!
It's true. It's not a concept.
I don't even know if it's true. I'm willing to believe it's true. I'll take that. I like that idea.
All right, well, that's the first step to
maybe
the 5G conspiracy.
Maybe
so
when
welcome
people love each other, they just happen to have the same frequency with their hearts. The heart's frequency is the same. It's matching.
Wait a minute, you cut up a lot there. You cut up a lot there. I couldn't hear you.
No, I didn't have anything to say. I'm just excited.
All right, okay.
Oh
Well, I guess that's our thoughts on virtual reality, in that we don't know anything about it.
We don't know
really.
anything. We're not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say definitively anything because I know nothing. I've barely experienced it.
Someone go out and look for that GIF, because that GIF will blow your mind, especially if you're a dude.
Go find
I'm going to find that
with
GIF.
The two women and the bananas.
Can I find that GIF and put it in the show notes? Can I put it in show notes?
Yeah,
Subscribe to our Patreon if you want to see that GIF.
Yeah, we'll put it
Patreon.
Patreon.com/Liban Is Listening.
I've got to find that, man. I've got to find it. When did I say that? Fuck.
This is the BBC Home Service.
Let me give you your notes on Batman, because you posted about the recent Batman, and you said, not again. And you are a comic book fan.
Yeah.
You used to like comic books. Were you a fan of the Marvel movies?
I am. I enjoy them. Yeah, I think they're good fun.
You still enjoy them now? You still
yeah. I'll still watch them.
Do you enjoy all the stuff that people talking about the movies?
No, I'll just watch the movies and enjoy them on their own. I don't really enter discussions or anything now.
Right. And then you saw the Batman track. What did you think of Joker?
I thought it was all right. It felt like I was just watching Taxi Driver again, but it was all right. It wasn't too bad.
Are you familiar with Taxi Driver?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite movies as a kid, of course. Angry, young.
Yeah, you'd love that. Love that.
Of course.
Right up your street.
Right up my street. So what was this? What was your reaction to the new Batman trailer?
Well, it was just I was just surprised that they're doing another adaptation so soon after the most recent ones they did with Ben Affleck. Like that literally came out 2 years ago. 2 years is nothing.
Is it 2 years?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, so I have no idea.
It was
Did they do a couple with him?
Yeah, they did like 2 or 3. He appeared in like 2 or 3 different movies, and I was just surprised that they were doing yet another version of the same character with a different actor so soon. I thought surely they'd leave 7 years or 10. No, 2 years later after the old one, immediately we're back here with the new version of Batman.
Did they do it because the Joker was such a success? They're like, right, this is this is the starting point now. Let's build and do what the Joker did. More of a drama, whatever.
I don't know.
Is that why?
It could be. I think in terms of timing, I'm not sure about that, because I think this was already in production.
What would you do if you was the head of the Batman franchise?
I'd do exactly what they're doing. Listen, if you're ahead of a franchise like that, all you care about is money, I'd be pumping out a new Batman movie every single year. Having said that, just as a regular punter, I'm just so tired of so many different Batman dudes.
You know what? I have a great idea for a Batman movie.
Well, pitch it to them. They'll make it in 3 years' time after Robert Pattinson finishes.
We just established you're the head of the Batman franchise. So...
Okay, I'm the head of the Batman franchise. Come into my office. Have a seat.
Do you think the comic book things are waning? Do you think the comic book movies, do you think it's waning? People are fed up of it now. They want something else. Do you think people are still voraciously...
people aren't voracious for it, but they'll still go and watch it if it's a big tentpole movie.
We've had peak comic book movie, though, right? Don't you think?
We've had a peak. I think there will be more peaks down the line. I think there will be a lull for about 5-6 years until...
You think?
Yeah, and until there's another peak.
I think these things are on the way out, seems to me. But I don't know. I'm not really engaged in popular culture.
Okay, so give me your pitch.
Here's my Batman.
Let's role play it out. You come into my office.
All right. Hello. Nice to be here.
Oh, welcome. Please have a seat. Do you want a water, a coffee, anything?
It's all right.
So
I'm going to smoke, though. I'm going to smoke. Is that all right?
No, actually, this is a no smoking space.
Listen, buddy. I'm lighting up because this idea is that good.
So you reject my offer of water and coffee, but you'll smoke in my office.
Listen, I read in a book that this is how you be alpha.
Okay, all right. You read in a book. Okay, go ahead.
I read in a book this is how you alpha.
This better be good. I'm listening, but this better be good.
All right. The movie opens.
I'm immediately prone to dislike it because I dislike you.
Listen, an idea is an idea.
I've got a million ideas. I've got a million writers out there who want to pitch stuff to me.
You think you have a million ideas. They're all shit. You're getting slaughtered out there in the cinemas.
All right, tell me what you got. Tell me what you got, big man.
The movie opens. There are a couple of criminals in an alleyway doing a crime.
Revolutionary. Wow, criminals doing crime. So deep. Is this the great idea?
A couple of criminals doing crime in an alley.
Criminals doing crime.
Suddenly, the gun disappears from their hand.
Okay.
One of them is knocked out dead.
Dead, okay.
No, not dead. He's knocked out.
Okay.
It's like abstract. You're seeing shadows play, and it's almost as if these shadows are knocking out these criminals. And that's it.
That's your pitch. That's your pitch.
We follow some average person, an average police officer in the city of Gotham. He goes to investigate a crime. He goes to investigate a crime that's happened. The victim is still alive. The criminals are tied up, hanging from their feet in a tiny apartment. And these are tough bastards as well, these criminals. They were going to rape this woman and now they've been tied up. And so on and so forth. You get where I'm going? 70-80% of the movie, you never see the Batman. You see him in shadows.
Louise, who is this guy? Why did you let him come into my... Why did you put his appointment into my books? Who is Louise?
What? Fuck, listen,
I
Louise.
don't care.
No,
I don't
Louise.
want you just letting random people in here. This is a homeless man just rambling nonsense. He doesn't even want me to have Batman in the movie, Louise.
That's right, Batman is in the movie. You see the
Batman is, how am I
You
going
see
to
the
sell
thing-
this to Louise? You're fired. Pick up your shit, clear up your desk, get out of it. You're fired.
Listen, no,
I don't want to hear it.
Louise,
I
leave
don't
this
care
shit.
how many
Louise,
kids you
leave
got.
it.
You're
Louise, put your
fired.
stuff back. Put your stuff back. Put your stuff back. Listen, you don't see the Batman. You see him as a shadow. You see the effects of the Batman. He is like.
What kind of arty-farty
listen,
bullshit is this?
You filmed this movie like.
Do you want the normal person?
Structurally-
Do you want the average person to watch this?
Structurally, this movie should be like the original Alien, like your classic horror film, where the Batman is the alien. He's unseen. He's in the shadows.
This will never work. Not in a million years. People want to see Batman. They want to see the suit. They want to see the belt. They
No,
want to
they
see.
don't.
They want
No,
to see
they
the bat.
don't.
They want to see
No,
the
they
bat
don't.
nipples. They want to see the bat card, the bat
No,
Visa card.
no,
They want
you're-
the whole shebang.
Listen, who's underestimating the audience?
You can't sell that. You cannot. No audience will watch this.
Well, you know what? You go and you make.
You go make this movie. You put it in a cinema, and the only person who'll watch it is some French dude in a fucking tiny, arty little cinema in a corner in Paris that nobody gives a shit about.
So hold on. If you'd have made Ridley Scott's Alien, you'd have rejected that movie. You'd be like, people want to see the alien. They want to see the man in the suit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a shit film that was.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What an absolutely shit film that was.
You being serious, Ben? You don't like Alien?
I'm the head of the franchise. I'm here to make money.
you don't know what
That was a fluke. That was an exception.
That
The
was
rule
not a fluke.
is the rule
No.
is people want to see the hero.
There were horror movies still making money by ripping off Alien.
If people didn't want to see the hero, why would we hire big names like Christian Bale, Ben
Enough
Affleck,
with the big
Robert
names.
Pattinson? You need a big name. They want to see that face. They want to see the package.
That movie's all flopped. That movie's all flopped. You know why? Because you show too much. You open the movie, you take your
Get out
dick
of my
out, you
office.
slap it on the table.
Get out of my
and then
office.
that's it.
Security. Drag this man away.
All right, drop the info. Seriously, don't you think that's a brilliant idea, Ben?
No.
You don't.
I'm sorry. I'm so caught up in my character. I have no
I don't
idea.
think it's a character.
I have
I
no
think that's
idea what
actually-
Liban thinks. I have no idea
think-
what Liban thinks anymore.
It's actually you.
I've fallen so deeply into the role. I'm
think
like
that's
I'm like Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know
Yeah.
what Daniel thinks anymore. I am the head of the Batman franchise. I'm gonna spend the whole week walking around, making my cup of tea, talking to people at work, and the whole
that's
time I'm
amazing.
gonna be like, "What are the latest figures from California? I need to know this ticket sale. I need to know the ticket sale."
Now that's a movie. That's a movie. How about that?
This character
mean-
is me. This is who I am now. I'm sorry.
In a way, this is the Batman movie. A guy who starts playing a character and is so taken by the character that the character consumes him.
Now we've got a story. Ladies and gentlemen, you were just witness to the act of creation. We just created the next Batman movie right
The next
here
Batman
live on the
movie
air.
is about the head of the Batman franchise. It's got drama, it's got thrills, he's rejecting ideas, it's a completely metatextual movie. Brilliant.
Brilliant. We've got a great movie on our hands. We just need to find the head of the real Batman franchise and send it to him.
Well, we don't. We need to find someone who's capable of playing the head of the Batman franchise with vigor and realism. And I think we have him right here in the room right now.
Hello, everyone. I am the head of the Batman franchise. I'm not even an actor. This is just who I am now.
That's right.
Right. That
All right.
was good.
Should we call it?
I think I'm happy to call it that.